assembly of devotees who serve together under the protection of Srila Prabhupada, each have their own brilliance. And it's the greatest revelation that I see when we notice that through the various generations and in all circumstances, those who have faith in Prabhupada's teachings and who followed them have the same kinds of enthusiasm and realizations which are unusual in this world. And therefore, when I look around and I see so many devotees, I wish that we could hear from everyone. And I always feel that these programs to glorify Prabhupada need, as I said, extension. Where I live, we, during Prabhupada's appearance day, extend as far as necessary so that everybody in the community can say something. And we find invariably, from young children to those who have just recently come to Krishna consciousness, there's this similar enthusiasm and a current that runs through all. I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all my esteemed God brothers and God sisters, and to all the assembled devotees. Vanchakalpataruscha, Kripasinabhevacha, Patitanam Bhavanibhyo, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. There is a necessity for access when there is such an exalted philosophy, as several devotees like Nanda Devi was saying. There's a chasm between us, between myself and the refined sentiments of the residents of the spiritual world. And as Abhiram Prabhu was saying, there is no limit to the glories of the pure devotee. So where does one hop on board in such an exalted tradition? Talking to His Grace Radhika Raman Prabhu, who I had the pleasure of staying with for a few days recently, as recent as a year ago, in Utah. We had some enlivening discussions, and one of them was about how a philosophy that makes one's head spin is useless unless one has access to it. What does it mean to anyone at all if we can't enter into it? And one of the miracles of Srila Prabhupada's presentation, which is Lord Chaitanya's presentation, is that philosophy, as someone had said, Burjan Prabhu, talking about the Mangalacharana to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, containing the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness. The first 14 verses encapsulate everything there. How does one enter into that? Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Haladini Shakti Rasmai. And there is an access, and Prabhupada talks about it, and it's one of the ways in which he makes the Krishna consciousness process so appealing. One of the feelings one gets from reading his books is one of optimism. Although oftentimes, especially being in public, distributing Prabhupada's books, I've been told numerous times that I'm going to hell, and that there's no doubt about that. Prabhupada, on the other hand, has a tendency to tell people that even if you do the smallest service for the devotees or for Krishna, then even if you don't want to, you're going to go back to Godhead. Yeah, he says that very thing in the light of the Bhagavad, that if one starts the process of Krishna consciousness and decides, I don't want this, you'll be forcibly dragged back down. And that's the feeling one gets from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, but Prabhupada made it accessible to everyone. And one of the ways that he, and of course Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who are all in the same Sangha, was that whatever material position one's in right now, and everyone's in some kind of material position, Shri Birgunamaya Bhavarevi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Navijanati Mamepya Paramavyayam. Krishna says everybody is subjected to the three modes of material nature. Anyone who comes in contact with the pure devotees and takes up the process that they put forward can immediately rise to an exalted position. This is a seemingly fantastical claim, but it's one that Krishna offers in the Bhagavad Gita, when he says, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami ma sujaha. It's the first purport I ever read that Prabhupada wrote, and it was very welcome purport. It was in a Back to Godhead magazine, and Prabhupada made it sound immediately available, that just surrender and you don't have to wait. You can just do it right now. And Krishna's there waiting for you. This is the mood of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirata Munandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yalana Kasari. A long list that Shukadev Goswami says of people who are normally considered unqualified to come anywhere close to a religious process, that don't even touch their shadow. He said here they're all included, and they'll immediately be exalted. Their position will become transcendental. Ahobata shapachato gariyanya jiva grevartate namatubhyam tipusta pasteju huvusasna arya brahmanatra nama granantiete. Even if they just say Hare Krishna a little bit, or just with the tip of their tongue, even just one time, everyone can say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, with this as a backdrop, that everyone's included and everyone's welcome, and everyone as a spiritual soul who comes in contact with the holy name of Krishna and the association of devotees can become immediately eligible to advance in devotional service and come to the highest position. And not just that it's, although there is no limit to it, and although that the position is so exalted, the idea is krame, step by step. It says the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that anyone can go from a Kanishta to an Uttamadhikari, otherwise what's the point of the process? So the second idea that's pervasive and that Prabhupada claimed as his own means of success was to embrace the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in the purport to one of the the 4 verses, the Chaturshloki in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse Pratiratam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatni tad vidyat atmanomayam yatabhaso yatatamaha. Krishna is saying to Brahma that anything you see in this world that's not connected to me, that's Maya, because everything's connected to me. And the word vidyad in that verse, Prabhupada expands upon in his purport, and he says that vidyad means the only light in this world. The only way that we actually can come out of the illusion of Maya is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says that the direct order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a manifestation of his internal potency. And it is by that potency that one comes to see the Lord face to face. And Prabhupada, again and again, making it accessible, said that the way that he was successful was simply following the order of his spiritual master. Did he not say that more than once?
Yes.
Please say yes.
Yes.
And every indication is there that anyone else can do that as well. And that means that using our free will, if we decide to take the order of Krishna that comes down through the disciplic succession, we have fortunately we have a founder Acharya who's codified the process and put it in such a way that we can follow it, which is what the demigods praying to Lord Krishna within the womb said is the main means that one crosses over this material ocean. If I may, Tvayam bhujaksha kila satvadami samadhi naveshi chetasayake tvatpada potena mahakritena kurvanti govatsapadam bhavaktim. Gives this metaphor. The material world is like a huge ocean and you can't cross it unless you find a great soul and you follow the order of the great soul. Kurvanti govatsapadam bhavaktim means that there are mahat, or great souls, who appear in the world, and they create a process for themselves to follow Krishna 24 hours a day. Now, if you follow in their footsteps, if you take their instruction, whatever it may be, it's made easy so anyone can follow it, then Kurvanti govatsapadam bhavabdim, the bhava abdim, the ocean of the material world shrinks. It becomes like the water contained within the hoofprint of a calf. In fact, one doesn't even have to try to cross over the material world, because once you follow the order of the great soul, then the ocean shrinks and you can just step over it. That's the idea. What's more, in Divinity and Divine Service, second chapter of the Bhagavatam, Bejare munio tagre bhagavan tamadhoksajam sattvam vishudham shemaya kalpante ye nutamiha. The most amazing offer. As it said, Bejare munio tagre, previously the great souls worshipped Vishnu, Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he's above the three modes of material nature, and they knew that they would attain the highest benefit from doing this. One doesn't have to be a great soul, but if one follows the order of a great soul, the verse says, Kalpante yenutaniha, then you're eligible for the same result that they got. So Prabhupada knew this, obviously. He claimed that that was his success. The cause of his success was to follow the order of his spiritual master. And some of the orders were very direct and clear. At least, I think all of them. And one of them was to preach Krishna consciousness, especially in English. And he got that order immediately, and he kept it. And he also asked again to his guru, can you clarify, is this true? Because he had received that the first time he met his guru, and he told him that you should, if you ever get money, print books. And he also reiterated that he should preach in the West. So when he had that in hand, that's what propelled him, that's what drove him, is to follow the order of his spiritual master. And finally, as we all know, he commented frequently on Vyavasayatmika Gurira Ekeya Kuranandana, 241 from the Gita. Bahushaka Hinantashta Buddhyo Vyavasayinam. There's a way in which the mind can decide to do any old thing at any time, day or night. And the way that the mind becomes tamed, the real yoga, is to get the order of a great soul and say, no, whatever else happens, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow this. And it becomes like a rope that pulls us through the various eras of our lives, the various errors of our life. And we feel that we're connected to the Supreme Personality of God, and we are. To reiterate what Prabhupada says in his purport in the second canto, to Ratirtamya Pritiyata, and that is that the order of the Lord, which is the same as receiving directly from his servant, is a manifestation of his internal potency, and it's by that potency, vidyad, that one comes to see the Lord face to face. So if all else fails, and it will, follow the order. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be the simplest, but just verify that it's in order. And if you've gotten one directly, fine. If you can take a general order that was given from the Acharya, that will work too. And hold on to it and invest in it. And then from there, it grows into the most amazing asset that anyone could have. And Prabhupada set that example to reiterate that everyone's invited. Everyone can participate. In fact, we want everyone. And second is, find the order. That's where Krishna is. That's where the access is. That's what we can do something about, because we have senses, we have ambition, we have industriousness, and we want something to do. In fact, I know I'm extending what I said was sort of a summary, but Prabhupada said that there's a way that, and now I interrupted myself. I can't remember what that last point was going to be. What?
Order.
Yeah. Anyway, a little thought. Anyway, I'm enthusiastic about simplifying, and that everyone has access, and if we hold on to Prabhupada's order. So he very kindly made it clear what the parameters are, the orders that one can follow, and if we embrace those and hold on to them and try to follow to the best of our ability, then we have direct access to Prabhupada and also to Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much.